Who buys used phones? Who sells used phones? No, right? I mean, people who are investors would be rich people and they will never care about selling phones or buying phones, used phones, never. So it was very hard for people to say or understand or acknowledge that this is a very, very large market. It already happens. Everyone in this country buys used phones. There are probably, every phone passes through 4 hands before it becomes dirt. And it is a great pattern. But we invested in this company in early 2015. They have grown more than 250x. कि मौसी ने, दादी ने पूछा कि तुम क्या करते हो, तो दादी हम वो शार्क टैंक देखती है वही करते हैं, कि दादी ने बोला उसमें तो अकल नहीं लगती. If not the most powerful tool that tech is given to India, it is going to change the world in ways that we can't even imagine today. The point I'm making is the grounding I have is of entrepreneurship and not startups. I'm using the words loosely, but entrepreneurship and not startups. Entrepreneurship is always about struggle and tough times and having to have grit and persistence.
So, how did Blume happen to you in this journey after T Labs? Were there any other zigzag moves?
There was no zigzag move. It was a tweet that Blume had made in August, and in January they gave me an offer.
So August से Jan तक आपने क्या किया? Interviews.
Work. See, again, I was settled, right? I was doing the stuff I love to do. So there was no reason to look around.
So what was the story like? What was the tweet and what did you respond and what happened?
Karthik is a co-founder of Blume, and he didn't have his own handle, so it was Karthik. Karthik tweeted saying we think we are looking for a portfolio evangelist. So portfolio evangelist role in his mind was a platform function and not really an investment function. And I was very excited about it because platform is what I love to do. Like I want to help entrepreneurs, and platform is the place that you can help entrepreneurs all the time. When I joined in 2014, it was very much a platform function, and I was doing all kind of stuff. I was doing marketing, I was doing events, I was doing videos. Not really investment because we were out of cash. The first fund was done, and fund 2 had not been up there back then. So today I'm a 100% investor, but earlier I started as 100% platform.
At what point of time did you start feeling like कि हाँ मैं अच्छा VC investor बन सकता हूँ? आपको VC join करना था वो एक बात है, but it's a difference between getting the confidence कि okay, you know, I think I can do this now.
What is a venture capital business? एक step back लेते हैं. Venture capital business है business जिसमें आप long term के लिए invest करते हैं. Think about this. You are not public market investors. You are investor, closed market investor. You can't exit when you like, when you can, when you want to. It's not liquid. You are investing in long term, which means you are investing for 10 years or 7-8 years at least. And you did not have enough data about the company. You're practically meeting this girl and you are investing in this. Right? 2-3 बार मिल लिए और समझ लिया क्या था. That's all. वो 3 बार मिलने के बाद आपकी क्या? It's practically intuition. And intuition is not data. So you cannot derive comfort until this girl goes and proves you right. So the pattern of venture capital is about validation from the market, right? And validation of from the market of stuff that you thought many years ahead of the market, right? For me, some of the companies in my portfolio, which I led investment, and I fought very hard for them, when they went and proved that, you know, a lot of people started valuing them, is when I thought that I was a good investor because some of my instincts are now validated. And so there is a pattern. And once a VC finds a pattern, he is going to bloody stick to that pattern because it has taken you 5-7 years to this.
So which were those companies or which were the bunch of entrepreneurs that proved you right?
So there is a company called Cashify. I'm sure all of you heard about Cashify. This was my first investment. Who invests in used phones? Who buys used phones is the question most people ask.
This was which year?
2015. So who invests? Who buys used phones? Who sells used phones? No, right? I mean, people who are investors would be rich people and they will never care about selling phones or buying phones, used phones, never. So it was very hard for people to say or understand or acknowledge that this is a very, very large market. It already happens. Everyone in this country buys used phones. There are probably every phone passes through 4 hands before it becomes dirt, and it is a great pattern. But we invested in this company in early 2015. They have grown more than 250x. But it is outstanding when you say, okay, there is something I believed in and now people are following. There's another company called Spinny. Some of you may have heard about Spinny. It's a used car company. Used car is a done and dusted problem. Car trade hai, car dekho hai, वगैरह वगैरह hai. Why do you need to build another platform for, and then of course Cars 24 was on the horizon. Why would you need to invest into another car company? What is the big deal about it? But the company was just following what they thought was right, which is doing the right thing for the customer by building a brand of trust and transparency. And they have been very, very razor sharp about this. But it took them some time to prove to investors that this is the right approach. This is the only right approach. Everything else is flawed. And then entrepreneur, when he proves that, then you know that you have made some right decisions. Of course, you make wrong decisions all the time. So that goes without saying.
I mean, I guess the whole goal is to ensure that even if you hit 1 on 10, that one that you hit is so big that the remaining 9 don't matter.
नहीं यार ऐसे कैसे बोल रहे हो? All my kids are equal.
No. For you, of course. I'm saying you are hoping that everyone does well.
Yeah.
But the math works in a way where 1 or 2.
Math works out if 1 or 2 are outstanding returns. That's fine. Also, हमारा business भी तो wins का business है. If I name Cashify and Spinny, you guys obviously recognize it. But if I name some other companies, then you don't recognize it. And obviously, my track record is going to be judged basis my wins and not my losses, right?
I have I'm personally very curious about this.
Please.
Sir, VCs के struggle क्या होता है? मतलब VC के पास तो इतना सारा पैसा है. Rows there are entrepreneurs parading themselves in front of VCs के सर पैसा दे दो.
बहुत सा question.
And I wonder के, and if you think about it, it's not a very from a distance. Of course, I'm sure the reality is different. मुझे लगता है कि यार आपको मतलब बैठना है, pitches सुनना है. हाँ ठीक है, इसमें
आराम की जिंदगी.
हाँ इसमें डालना है, इसमें नहीं डालना है. और अभी जब लोग शार्क टैंक देखते हैं, मतलब कि 4 लोग बैठे हैं, लोग आके इनके सामने कुछ ना कुछ कर रहे हैं और ये लोग बैठ के आई एम आउट ऐसा बस ऐसा वन लाइनर्स देते हैं. तो मुझे जानना था कि व्हाट आर द स्ट्रगल्स दैट अ VC goes through, if there are any struggles.
So our life is not very different from what you see in Shark Tank. Shark Tank is obviously a very dumbed down version of what our life is, but it is 80% there. So 80% almost there. In fact, किसी ने मुझे बोला था कि उसकी मौसी ने, दादी ने पूछा कि तुम क्या करते हो? तो दादी हम वो शार्क टैंक देखती है, वही करते हैं. कि दादी ने बोला उसमें तो अकल नहीं लगती. Which is practically what business largely is about. But तो क्लियरली हमारा स्ट्रगल आपके जैसा स्ट्रगल नहीं है, क्योंकि सो थिंक अबाउट दिस. मेरे पोर्टफोलियो में मान लो 10 कंपनी है, तो 10 कंपनी का स्ट्रगल जो क्लब्ड ऑल द स्ट्रगल एंड दैट्स माई स्ट्रगल, राइट? बट बिकॉज इट इज ऑल्सो डिवाइडेड बाय 10, I don't feel excited about anything as much as you do, and I don't feel sad about or nervous about everything as much as you do. So I definitely experience nervousness, but we make a difference to entrepreneur's life, and we have, more important than anything else is that we want to hold ourselves responsible for making that difference. वो struggle मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ा है. ये तो हो गया struggle as a VC.
So अभी tell me about your FOMO, because one thing I know that happens in the VC's life also is FOMO. कि यार ये why did I get an opportunity to invest in this company, or that maybe you did get an opportunity and जो बोलते हैं ना anti portfolio companies.
एंटी पोर्टफोलियो बताता हूँ मैं.
So tell us about your most.
बहुत सारी है.
सबसे बड़ा regret कहाँ पे है?
FOMO के आगे एक लेवल होता है जिसमें आप इस बात से सेटल हो जाते हो कि FOMO तो होगा. Rather, MO तो होगा ही होगा, मिसिंग आउट तो हमेशा ही होगा, राइट? सो देयर इज नो फियर अबाउट इट, because all that matters eventually, if you look at the economics, it's kind of very obvious, is the investment that you made. The ones you did not make anyway don't matter. Bro is a friend of mine. My first job was Paytm Systems, and Harsh and Lalit both were colleagues, and I knew them for a long while. I did not do fintech, and people who did fintech did not like it enough in my firm. So we missed it completely, right? So I regret that as well.
Okay, so Arpit, how do you keep yourself abreast with what's happening in the world? Abhi, there are obviously some sectors like deep tech, health tech, EV that you obviously track. But generally, I guess VC's life also involves just knowing about the world. कि चल क्या रहा है मतलब across the world.
I think the most important thing that I learned from most important source I learned from is entrepreneurs. All the stuff that we have learned about electric vehicles and we have been very popular about electric vehicle investments is because of entrepreneurs. And of course, you then augment it by reading various stuff and reports and all that, but you ask people and they tell you.
This is precisely why we've launched Club Altuni also. Because there is a lot of peer learning that happens in whatever people do. And that's one opportunity for people to get together and learn from each other and from people like Arpit and many others. Arpit, what are the big mistakes that you think you made in your career or in your life? You may or may not regret it, but you might want to share it saying that I think this was a mistake.
बहुत important है for especially people who are about to start your careers, all of you. I have been at some point in my life the most arrogant person in the room. I was so in my head, I was so full of myself that I wouldn't let you complete a sentence. I'm sure all of you have met one such person in life who would not wait for you to finish and will butt in and say something which obviously turns you off. And I was so full of myself, I couldn't see that I was turning people off. I was always concluding that these people are either too jealous of me or not good enough. Right? That's how arrogant and overconfident people act, right? I was so full of myself that I stopped doing hard work. I thought success will follow me like nothing else. Did not happen. Obviously, it did not happen. Right? And today I regret that. Regret, not guilty. That because guilt is a trap. But regret is something that just keeps telling me that I have to make sure that I don't do this again. And keep watching out for this pattern of mine. एक गलती किया. Another thing that, and this is a more recent discovery, and I'm not sure if all of you will be able to relate to this, but still it is very important to me. For me, the big learning of the last 3 years has been that I am now able to strike relationships with people who are not friendly, but are still able to get things done. For me, it was very, very hard, right? And again, so the core learning is that I am not a static. I can change my stripes depending on the situation, depending on the audience, depending on the people, because what is most important is to be effective and to get things done. What is not relevant is how I am, because how I am doesn't matter. I think that's an important learning for me.
Okay, Arpit, अभी आपके नाम में अग्रवाल लगा हुआ है. So, और सबको पता है अग्रवाल लोग अभी तो लास्ट 10-15 साल में तो इंडिया में बहुत अमीर हो चुके हैं. हमेशा ही थे शायद, पर अभी सबको पता भी है इसके बारे में. The question is how important is money for you? To what extent does it? I know you spoke about it earlier that you never entered anything because of money, etc. But what is your relationship with money and how do you look at it now? Because you see, millions of dollars moving, exchanging hands, etc.
I think that I'm zen about money, and the reason that it's complex is because I think so. I don't know. There was a point of time that I was barely making my ends meet, and it didn't bother me too much. Today I am a little more comfortable, and it doesn't bother me too much even today. It definitely helps me that I have enough money that I can make choices that I could not afford earlier. At the same time, it does not matter to me because if you give me my chai and bread, I'm happy. I think I'm zen about money. Money is important, but managing money, how much ever you have, is a far more important thing. So this is something which I'm just digressing from what you said. All of you who are MBAs or not MBAs, please pay attention to how you are managing money. Please pay attention to your risk of life. If you do not have a term insurance, please get a term insurance today. It is very easy to buy. Go to policybazaar.com and they will walk you through the process. I'm not an ambassador, but it is very. I have bought in Policy Bazaar. It is, if you don't have a health insurance, please buy health insurance. If you don't have a term insurance, please buy a term insurance. And please be very careful about what the financial advisors are giving you or not giving you. Definitely apply your mind and do your Excel sheet before you make any decision, because managing money is very important, how much ever you have, but you need to know where it is going and have it under your control.
I think it's time now for me to open the floor for the audience to ask some questions now.
I'm Nilanjan. I'll be joining an MBA college in this coming few months. I'm awaiting my results. So you said about the importance about managing the money what we have. Now, recently in the market, we have seen some company like there is an image by reading the newspapers from outside. It seems that the startup ecosystem and the market, the company valuations are crazy and they are inflated. How true is that? Second question that I have is that so when these companies they do their IPO and we as retail investors we invest in them and then they perform badly. So how do we VCs have a different like it seems from the articles that we have read that they have a different image of what this company can do and then they take it to market to recoup their money, their investment. So what should we as retail investors keep in mind before investing in these companies which will go on their IPO so that we don't lose our money and we manage well?
So second question is easy because I'm a IPO investor in Paytm and I'm holding. I'm a thesis-based investor. I think fintech is the most powerful, if not the most powerful tool that tech is given to India. It is going to change the world in ways that we can't even imagine today. And Paytm is just one of the first fintech companies to be out there. So I'm holding. As far as markets are concerned, the first question. See, there are two different markets. There's a private market and a public market. Whether you are in private market or public market, we can only argue two ways. Either the market is right or not right. As far as public market is concerned, the moment this transition from private to public happens, public market is a whole new market and requires a whole new education. So it is a matter of time when public market will understand the same fundamentals, or private market will understand that those don't matter so much, that private market currently understands. Today, I am a believer in fintech. I invest into fintech companies every day, and it keeps growing, right? It's a fabulous tool in the hands of this country and people in this country, and it will grow very, very fast. So I believe that it is a matter of time the public market also see the potential in not just fintech, also in Zomato, also in Nykaa, and also in Policybazaar and so on. Having said that, there will always be companies that you have to be careful about, and that you have to understand, what the company is about and so on, as compared to what their peers are doing, because you will always get to a situation where IPO aa raha hai, isme thodi company achhi hai, right? So you have to be careful about which company you're picking. But in terms of theme, I am very bullish about the fact that all of these will outperform. It is only a matter of time.
How do you kind of set yourself apart as a VC investor, or how does Blume Ventures set itself apart from other VC firms? So like, let's say you have an entrepreneur and you want to invest some money into that guy's company, but you also have other VC firms that want to make that investment as well. Why should an entrepreneur accept money from you in particular? Second question would be, I guess on your LinkedIn, it said that you're looking to hire superstars, but you've not described the characteristics of a superstar. So what are you looking for, or according to you, who's a superstar?
Superstar is just a catchy term. So honestly speaking, when I put it there, I didn't mean it. It didn't mean much, because everyone wants to believe that a superstar, so they apply to me. So and that's good enough, because all I'm interested in is to get people to be interested in Blume. One thing that has started to happen in our industry also is that it has become harder to hire people, because people have many options and people have many choices to make, and also startups take a lot of talent from us. So it becomes hard, and therefore it's important to focus on hiring. Without hiring, you can't build a large firm, of course, and that also is a challenge. So that obviously plays a role, which is why hiring has become a focus for us as well. Finally, how do I get attention from entrepreneurs? I have to be myself. That's what I'm saying. It is no outcome. There's no way out of it. If I'm not myself, then I will not be performing as much. If I'm not performing, I will not be at the best of my performance, then obviously I'm not going to get delivered returns. So to me, it is all the same. I'm sure if you ask a different person this question, the answer may be different. For me, this is the answer.
Sir, I'm Tusharam from Delhi itself. I was reading an article on LinkedIn the other day. So it mentioned like 80% of the startups, especially in fintech space, do end up, let's say, dry out in a couple of years after incubation. What are the particular reasons according to you?
हाँ वही
I would say 80% तो बहुत optimistic
बहुत
number.
optimistic number है.
95% startups fail.
will fail, yeah.
What might be the reasons?
बहुत सारे रीजंस है यार. स्टार्टअप इज अ स्ट्रगल अगेंस्ट फेलियर, स्ट्रगल अगेंस्ट डेथ. सो एवरी स्टेप दैट यू डू इज टू अवॉइड डेथ. दैट इज द रियलिटी.
It's a game of survival.
It's a game of survival. So every step that the entrepreneur is taking, especially early stage में, is against death. And death is the most default situation. तो death होने के reason थोड़ी होते हैं. Survive करने के reason पूछो.
Let's say you've invested in the startup, right? And the company is doing really well. But for some reason or the other, the CEO decides to move the company in a different direction, or in a direction that you're not comfortable with. In that case or in that scenario, what is your approach? Is it to like exit the company or oust the CEO, or what would you do in that situation?
बहुत खतरनाक सवाल पूछ रहे हैं.
और आप जवाब दोगे उसके बाद बोलेगा कि सर आप वेग बात कर रहे हो.
मैं वही बोल रहा. अब मेरा आंसर वेग तो नहीं फील होगा तुम्हें. क्योंकि पर्सनल है बॉस. आई कैन चूज टू बीट हिम डाउन or her down with my hammer, or I can choose to live along. So I have to apply my judgment, and I have to feel that whether the person is doing which is in the right interest of the company. There's a company called Slice in our portfolio. I'm sure all of you are Slice customers. Slice started as a rental company. कहाँ rental और कहाँ credit card company, right? कोई relationship ही नहीं है. अगर हमने बोला होता कि तुम रुक जाओ, pivot मत करो, ये मत करो, वो मत करो, तो यहाँ पहुँचते क्या? नहीं पहुँचते. आई एम श्योर उस समय भी कुछ लोग ऐसे होंगे जो बोल रहे हैं क्या बकवास है, हमने तो इसमें इन्वेस्ट नहीं किया था, तुम क्यों कर रहे हो ऐसा. तो किया होता लोगों ने, लेकिन अभी तो चल रही है ना, कंपनी अच्छा कर रही है. सो आई डोंट नो ऑल ऑफ द पिवट्स आर गुड, बट सम आर गुड, सो यू हैव टू अप्लाई योर जजमेंट.
One question I had, Arpit, was which are the sectors, areas that excite you? I'm sure some of these guys will start companies going forward as well. You must have some favorite sectors, or rather things that are super exciting and attractive for you right now.
सो मेरे एक कांस्टेंट थीम है यूजिंग टेक्नोलॉजी टू चेंज इंडस्ट्रीज. ये कांस्टेंट थीम है, ये सब जगह एप्लीकेबल है. इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल में एप्लीकेबल है, डीप टेक में एप्लीकेबल है, हेल्थ टेक में एप्लीकेबल है. आपको टेक्नोलॉजी मिला है मोबाइल फ़ोन का या सॉफ्टवेयर का या वेब टेक्नोलॉजी का, एंड इसको यूज़ करके आपने किसी की लाइफ में कोई इंपॉर्टेंट डिफरेंस किया. जैसे कि बहुत सिंपल है, मेरे कज़िन की शादी थी अभी संडे को, तो उस दिन मेरे नाना ने पार्टिसिपेट नहीं कर पाए क्योंकि नाना की तबीयत ख़राब थी. तो उनको हमने जूम पे नहीं, व्हाट्सएप कॉल पे दिखाया, बारात दिखाई और वो स्टेज दिखाया, तो बड़े खुश हो गए. तो देन टेक्नोलॉजी इज चेंज लाइफ. 4-5 साल पहले तब एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर सकते थे ना ये. आज टेक्नोलॉजी हैज चेंज लाइफ. सो टेक्नोलॉजी एंड देन दिस इज चेंज इन अ परमानेंट मैनर. आज बिना उबर के आप इमेजिन नहीं कर सकते लाइफ. इवन इफ यू हेट उबर टुडे विद द एक्सपीरियंस दैट दे गिविंग टू एवरीवन, बट यू कैन नॉट इमेजिन उबर एंड ओला विद लाइफ विदाउट देम. दैट्स अ परमानेंट चेंज. टुडे देयर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स वी नाउ टेक फॉर ग्रांटेड. It's impossible to imagine. So in my mind, technology changes life, and that's the most important theme, which is and sometimes it could be deep tech, sometimes it could be shallow tech. I don't care so much about it, but that's very important. So firm belief that technology matters, and firm belief that technology is the only tool that we have as a civilization. I'm making a very tall statement. That will make permanent change possible, and will obviously improve quality of life, improve income standards of people, make new things possible, convenience, etc., etc., etc.
What do you think of Web3 and Metaverse?
I am a firm believer in Web3. Web3 का impact जितना मेरे को समझ में आता है, और I have not read or invested in any company myself, but Web3, if you haven't read about it, my suggestion is each of you go and spend 1 hour reading about Web3, because Web3 is going to change the world like we have never imagined. And whatever is currently seen, crypto, etc., is just a starting point. बहुत कुछ possible है, ये मेरा belief है. Web3 is a technology is outstandingly impactful. Metaverse, I'm not entirely sure, but वो भी काफ़ी powerful तो है.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Arpit. Thank you so much for spending so much time. Guys, a big round of applause.